What's up, everybody? Today I've got something special for you. It's a little different, so come on, let's get started. Today I am excited to be doing another interview. I've done several of these and I enjoy doing these because I like hearing people's experiences and their stories. And today I've got Ann Whimsy with me, and we're going to be discussing all things keto and a few other things. Ann is a old school blue collar worker. Man, she worked at a shipyard. Ann was a bodybuilder. So I'm excited to see what she has to offer us today, and I'm glad to have her with me. Ann, if you don't mind, give me a little backstory about your keto journey.
Well, actually, I started keto back when Dr. Atkins, first published his books. I still have all of them. They're falling apart, so they just stay on a shelf. And it was very successful, but you got zero. This was like 1970s, early 70s. You got zero support. Like, you didn't even dare to tell your doctor that's how you're eating, because they tell you you're going to die. And at one point, I got diagnosed 1992 with type 2. Runs in both sides of my family, seen it all my life, wheelchairs, strokes. And I kind of felt doomed my whole life, right? And so when I got diagnosed, it was like, okay, been waiting for this. And of course, they offered you nothing. There was no hope. It was only every time you go, you're going to get more medication. Your blood work and labs are going to be awful. It's a horrible situation. And you live like that. And at one point, when I was doing the bodybuilding, because I got into heavy duty bodybuilding and ergometer rowing, my doctor said, you've reversed your diabetes. I was like, okay, right? Because I was enjoying the lifestyle. And then in the same sentence, after he told me my diabetes was gone, keep doing what you're doing. So I told him about eating keto. And he goes, you'll be dead in 2 years if you don't eat 120 to 150 carbs a day. There was no support back then. They carried Dr. Atkins into Senate committee hearings that were instigated by the sugar industry. They wanted to pull his license. I mean, I have the transcript. It was awful. But there's no support out there. And even though you can say, geez, my diabetes is reversed, you feel like you have to listen to your doctor. You know what I mean? So I started sloughing on how I ate. Naturally, the diabetes came right back because, it will. And I went on like that years and years and years and years. And I'm a true carb addict, Steve.
Me too.
I remember distinctly the last time I had a bowl of curly fries at karaoke before COVID. And I believe after 4 years, I remember that bowl of French fries. I think it was 4 years later, I wake up, my diabetes is like 5 times worse, and I'm like 50 pounds heavier. Mm-hmm. That's a true addict, right? It's like a blank. All I know is. So, and then the highest was 285, 83, something like that. I got pictures. I don't like to think about it. And my brother, somehow, I think through his insurance, found out about Virta. And he never said anything, but everybody noted he lost 198 pounds in 1 year and reversed his diabetes, because everybody in the family's got diabetes. And I went, and he taught me about Virta. And as soon as he started talking about Virta, I recognized the principles were the same as Atkins, except far more refined, because there's a lot more research. Atkins didn't really know about limiting your protein. Don't eat a whole prime rib at once or something, and it still worked. And so right away, I was like, I can't wait to get on Virta, because this goes with what I've known and seen in myself. And I was at the stage where every 3 months when I saw my PCP, it was more insulin, it was more pills, it was people shaking their heads and going, you're not doing so good. And triglycerides 350s in the 350s, even though I was taking statins. I mean, it was clear things were not going well at all. And I didn't feel good either.
That's a great point, Ann. You know, having high sugar, high blood pressure, all that stuff, it just makes you feel drained all the time, or it did me. I know I couldn't hardly walk to the mailbox without being out of breath, and I just felt like garbage most of the time, and so exercise was completely out of the question. But yeah, I feel much better now.
I've always taken care of my home, you know, the yard, the pool, the dog, the house, remodeling. I'm a big remodeler. And I didn't feel good enough for like months to actually, I was lucky I got the broom out. I mean, I felt like crap. It wasn't really living. And now, what I do the other night, put a new blade on the chainsaw, so I'm ready. It's fabulous. And I'll be 78 in July, so yes.
Well, and if somebody was just starting out their keto low carb journey, what advice would you give them?
One of the things I see on Calm a lot, other than confusion between total carbs and net carbs, which you kind of expect from newbies,
Yes.
is to try and understand the absolute wealth of foods and choices that you actually have with very little effort. I could just watch your videos once a week. VirtaWorks.com, even under Discover. I see people that come on and go, I'm so bored with the food. And you know what I think right away? Lazy. That's what I think. The older you get, the less patience you have with people. Trust me on this. But it's ridiculous. If I was just to try every recipe I've seen in keto with what people post or what I've seen on VirtaWorks or like your stuff, I would have to live to be 182 and cook every damn day to get through 2/3 of them. So I don't want to hear, I can't find nothing to eat. It's a really boring diet. I don't want to hear that. Because you're not. Open your eyes. It's the kindest thing I could say to you.
That's good advice, Ann, and I admit I was lazy. It's so much easier to swing by the Burger King, grab something on the way home from work, or get the prepackaged meals that you can just throw in the microwave and heat up. So yeah, I've been guilty of being lazy myself. And when I started doing keto in 2019, I done the dirty version, and it was counting net carbs and things like that. I really didn't care about the A1C and the blood pressure or anything like that. I was just trying to lose enough weight to get into some pants that I could actually buy at the store and not have to special order them. But yeah, I done that for a good while. I lost 100 pounds doing it that way, and I stalled out pretty bad, and I wasn't making any progress. And then I saw that my employer offered Virta for free. A lot of employers do for that, so people could check into that kind of thing. But and I figured I'd sign up, and I had to make some adjustments to total carbs. And once I got there and made those adjustments and made a course correction a little bit, I started losing weight again. I was feeling better, and that was a big help. By making that switch, I realized that something happened. I started eating cleaner foods or real foods instead of prepackaged and stuff like that. I knew exactly what I was eating. I was just eating a cleaner lifestyle. So that was another aspect that I wasn't expecting. I still enjoy a good old can of Spam every now and again. I'm not going to lie about it, but hey, it's real ingredients. I'll say that. And I've lost 55 pounds with Virta, so it definitely works. I've broke free of that plateau. It's slower now than it was at the start, but I'm still moving in the right direction. By no means am I where I want to be yet.
That's going to total carbs. Lose it over the period of I've seen it. It's the shrinking Steve.
That's great. Hey, what is your eating plan look like? What was the average day in your life look like when you're what you eat and things like that?
I have disliked food in the morning for decades. And I have noticed on the few times when we went out to breakfast with people or something, that if I have food before noon, I get absolutely uncontrollably, pathologically ravenous for the rest of the day, to the point that I'm eyeballing a sandwich that somebody threw away and saying, would anybody see me pick it up? That was a moment in my life. It was scary. I didn't pick it up, but it was a scary moment because I actually had that thought. So I avoid food in the mornings. And thank God Virta doesn't require you to eat something. And you know what I mean? So generally 2 meals a day, sometimes a snack. And they're just, even though I live alone, I almost always cook in bulk. I will make enough for 5 or 6 servings. If it was good the first time, it'll be good the next time. And I'll eat them over 3 or 4 days. Or if it's getting too long because I had to go somewhere to do something, put it in the freezer, of course. So when I open my freezer, stuff falls on my feet sometimes, which is okay. And if you cook, say, a big thing of pot roast, because I'm rich, I can afford pot roast now. But anyway, I got a house full of spices. So it doesn't have to be the same every time you eat it. And I always have 2 or 3 kinds of vegetables, raw, cooked, whatever. So you put different vegetables with it. So it's not like I'm eating the same meal every time. It's got different sides or different flavors or, and it just saves me a lot of work. It saves me a lot of cleanup because when you cook, you got dishes and stuff and I don't have a dishwasher. And I'm very happy eating that way, but it's generally 2 meals a day. And I try to break up my protein half and half. So it's kind of even, like I'm supposed to have 14 a day. No, 12 a day, sorry, ounces a day. And I try to have like 6 ounces and 6 ounces just so. And then if I only get like 5 ounces or something, because it's the end of the meatloaf, then I'll have like an extra piece of cheese or something in between. So I try to stay close to the protein. I try to stay way under the carbs because I'm known from doing Atkins from when his books came out, because he told you how to check what your personal carb allowance was. And it's never been more than 20. I am a person who is very sensitive to carbs. And I have to always be aware of that, because as soon as I start eating, say, 30 or 40 carbs a day, I'll put on weight just like that, like maybe 2 or 3 pounds a week, if not more. It is annoying. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. But it's the facts. You got to deal with the facts. You can't say, oh, I wish I could eat more. Let's see if I can eat more. It's never gone well. So that's a day. Like today I cooked some beef cheeks, which is better than pot roast and cheaper. And Walmart has them sometimes. When I find them, I always buy a bunch. They're so tough because it's the cheeks where they chew all the time. You have to cook them for like 6 or 8 hours in a covered pan. But then I have enough I got 2 days worth, 2 meals left in the fridge right now. And then it will be gone. And I also have some coleslaw in there. And I have some turnips cooked and some air fried cabbage, which is, if you haven't tried it, try air fried cabbage.
Oh, I've done a couple recipes dealing with cabbage, and I didn't think I was going to like them, but y'all can look in the description and see the links to those recipes. But yeah, cabbage is spot on. Do you have any tips when it comes to things like snacking?
And occasionally I have cute little dishes to put a snack in that I weigh, use my scale religiously. 1 ounce of like macadamias or, wisps or whatever, now and then. But that's the only food that leaves the kitchen. Because if it leaves the kitchen, it never returns to the kitchen. Well, other than on my feet, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm careful. I'm trying to be real careful with portion control.
That's a great tip. I've noticed that whenever I start stalling out again, if I look and see how many almonds I'm eating, it's probably way too many, and I get to just measure them, put them on the scales, measure them out, and that is a factor in causing me to stall. I've recognized that over time.
Oh, tip. Take your big jar of plain olives, not stuffed, and get yourself those little packets of True Orange, the little powder that's just, crystallized orange, because I don't like buying a whole orange and then having to grate it that's too much. and put 2 of those in the olive jar, pour off just a little liquid so you can fit it in there, shake it, leave it in the orange olives. Oh my God, Steve. I bought one time one of those 6-pack individual olive packages just from Amazon, and some of them are good and some of them are not good. And the orange olives were to die for. They don't get real orangey, but they just give it that je ne sais quoi. And I tried to buy just orange. They don't sell just orange olives. They want to make you buy the variety pack. I have taken and grated an orange and then reuse the liquid on another jar because olives never go bad. I highly recommend orange olives.
So switching gears a little bit, I know, Ann, when I first joined the community forum there in Virta, that you were one of the first people that I interacted with, and one of the first things I recognized about you was that you're a no holds bar, no nonsense, not sugarcoating anything kind of person. And I appreciate that, because for me, I have blind spots, and especially switching from the net carbs to the total carbs. There's a few things that were an adjustment for me, and you and some other people, you laid it out there how it is, and I've watched you interact with other people, and you just tell it like it is. And that's one of the things that I love about you. You just you throw it out there, and I know that, or I sense that you're not out to tick people off. You're genuinely trying to help them out.
I think that sometimes people need a kick in the ass. And you come on and you tell me you're diabetic and you got this and that, but I had 3 croissants yesterday. What should I do? Straighten up. Because I'm genuinely worried about you. I've seen on both sides of my family from the time I could think what can happen when and it's not pretty. None of it is pretty. And once you go over the edge of that cliff to where you've really done some damage to yourself, and you had a stroke, you got blindness, you got whatever, something you can't pull back. There are points of no return. Don't get to the point of no return. And if everybody on the thing is like being sweet and charming and loving, which is, God bless you people. I've never been like that. Maybe if I show you the reality of how you really need to take this seriously, I don't care if you get mad at me. You'll get over it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, like I said, that I love about you. You're just the facts, and yes, absolutely. Sometimes we need a quick, swift kick in the butt to get us moving along. And I guess you could call that tough love.
There's things you need to hear.
So moving on, another thing that people seem to have a difficult time with is cravings. How do you deal with cravings?
If I had urges, I'd have to get in the car and go somewhere to get something. Because other than almond flour, I don't think there's anything in this house, and it's in the freezer. And I was just thinking the other day, it's been there probably a year and unused. I should probably throw it out. Do I want to replace it or not? Because I just want to eat meat and veg and salad, and I treated myself to a little hydroponic garden on my counter so I can fix my salads up with whatever needs to be trimmed, and it's enjoyable. In the dead of winter here, it was fun to be able to garden just a little bit with little tiny tools.
Yeah, one of the hardest things for me in dealing with cravings and temptations is the snack machine at work. Sometimes on my way to the bathroom, I'll pass that thing and it's like it's screaming out to me, "Steve, pick me, pick me." And so that one's the vending machine is a big temptation for me.
My last husband had a massive heart attack at 53, had to be airlifted out 50 miles away to a big hospital and have 2 stents put in at 53 because he couldn't pass a vending machine.
Well, the way I overcame it was to pack a cooler. I didn't ever used to carry a cooler to work, and now I carry a cooler, and I've got all my goodies in there. from my meal prep. I usually do meal prep on Saturdays after I get through shooting my YouTube videos. A lot of times I take the recipes that I actually shot in my videos and I'll prep it out, and that's my lunch for the week. So by having that available in my cooler, which is close to me, that eliminates the snack machine, because I like what I have better than what's in there anyway. And since I'm not a carb addict anymore.
Open my door. There's a buffet as close as the microwave. It's a good feeling.
And I sure do appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. You have helped me a great deal in my journey, and I appreciate that. And
I appreciate this. This has been so much fun.
Yes, it has. And I'll see you down the road on the community forums, I'm sure. I enjoyed that chat with Ann. Man, like I said, she's helped me in my journey. She's helped a lot of people. And you can glean from this interview what you want. Just some practical advice, some wisdom she shared. I always listen to people who are in the journey, because I don't know everything, and sometimes people have great ideas that I'll incorporate into my life. So, Ann, thanks again for that, and thank you guys for watching, and I wish you the best in your journey. And until next time, eat well, and may the Lord bless you.